Hello and welcome to the Reading Entertainment Podcast, episode 434 for January 14th, 2024. My name is Nathan Reitensbruth, and joining me this week we have Cyberpunk. We have Connor, the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
It's me. I'm the soccer punk monk Besh.
Exactly, and Andrew Rowe McFain.
I'm the Sodom punk monk me.
I was like, I'm gonna introduce Connor first, and it ruined it because I normally introduce Andrew Rowe McFain first.
Please, let's just save your best for last.
And of course, I'm your host, Nathan Reitensbruth. We have an exciting episode. We have an episode for you, and the first thing I want to do with the episode is ask Aroa or Connor, where can we find you guys?
Aroa, that website.
Anything you want to specifically point out that you've been working very hard on?
Yeah, Bug City Blues, which you could find on Aroa website or like literally anywhere else that fine podcasts are found. It's a Shadow World 6th World Edition actual play podcast. I worked really hard on it.
Wait, you said Shadow World.
Shadow World? A Shadowrun 6th World actual play podcast. And I've had to restart this latest episode like 2 times now. I think I'm done with Audacity.
What are you going to switch to?
I don't know yet, but I think I'm done with Audacity. I was thinking of just doing another fork or like rolling it back and seeing if that fixed the issue.
Yeah, I think maybe like one of the newer updates, because I know they've added a lot of new features in the last few updates, and it's kind of been breaking things for people.
I also think like I freed up like 100+ gigs on my tablet. I've had basically every episode that I've worked on unbacked up so far.
Mm-hmm.
That made a little bit of a difference, but not enough. Like I was timing it. It regularly took 2+ minutes whenever I delete a piece of audio. And for how much chopping up I need to do, that's not realistic.
No. Is there a way to do auto backups in Audacity? I haven't used it enough to know.
There is a backup feature, and last time I used it and a project got corrupted, the backup also got corrupted. So I haven't bothered with it since.
Well, what I meant to say is actually auto save. Because I know a lot of programs have that nowadays. But
I am so conditioned to save early, save often that it's not an issue for me.
I see.
If something happens to my program, it's going all the way bad. It's not like, oh, I was working on something and I forgot to save. No, that won't happen with.
It has it will recover automatically if like it crashes or whatever. Because it doesn't have it's because it doesn't have time to delete the project files.
I see.
But yeah.
Anyway,
why am I getting paged on that? That's not even me.
Interesting.
Okay, whatever.
So that's the big one. There's also Clinton's Core Classics, which is all completed and you can listen to the whole thing. However, we're still trying to get, so Google Podcast is dying, and they're like slowly adding features to add things to YouTube Music. So we might be able to put our podcasts on YouTube Music here in the future, but we'll see.
I keep on talking that I'm going to just learn FFmpeg and encode all the videos to like MP4 or whatever so I can upload them to YouTube. But
there's gotta be a program that will automatically do it. Or
it's gotta be.
Somebody's already done something. Because I have a program that I've installed on my media server that will look at all of my files and automatically encode them with FFmpeg or Handbrake to a better quality or a different format that has the same quality with a lower bit rate.
Really, all that I want is for it to fetch an episode, put the album artwork as the background art, and like if you want brownie points, put a visualizer on it for like the bars move when people are talking. But that's all it's got to be. Like we don't have to reinvent the wheel to make this happen. It would just take a lot of time.
Yeah. There was a program I used briefly that was a web program that would take the RSS feed and then automatically do that. But it didn't work great. It would fail a lot of the time. But I know there are programs that you can make that happen. Anyway, you can find me, Nathan Reitensbruth. I'm Reetin everywhere, mainly Twitch, twitch.tv/Reetin. That's at 6 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. I play video games, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But first, Aroa, what games did you play this week?
So I'm playing a lot of Lethal Company.
Okay.
Game's really fun.
Good.
Mostly playing it modded, and like game's fun unmodded, but some of the mods just add a whole other level of goofiness to stuff. Particularly the thing where like certain enemies will talk with your friends' voices because it records like snippets of your in-game voice chat, and then we'll play them back. It's great.
Oh, that's it. It's not like an AI thing where it records it.
No, that would be much more resource intensive, I would imagine. But yeah, that game's fucking fantastic, and I'm glad that a ton of people are playing it. Also played Fortnite quite a bit because I'm 12. Uh, discovered something in Lego Fortnite that really pissed me off though. Um, so it's a normal thing for me in most survival craft 'em up games uh, to want to build a walkway in the sky
Yeah.
to kind of
Okay.
get around problems. And I've been doing that in Lego Fortnite. I've spent several hours, uh, like actual hours, doing this, and I encountered a limitation in Lego Fortnite this week.
Oh.
Turns out there's a limit on how complex a particular structure can be.
Okay.
And the game does not tell you this. The game just kind of pretends that it's not a thing, even whenever you run into that limitation. So here I am building this road out of granite, and all of a sudden I can't place pieces anymore. Like I can place them, but they don't appear, and it still takes my granite. And
Oh.
I just keep doing it, and nothing. It's not. They're not showing up. I can build sideways, but I can't go past this point. It's like there's a box around my walkway here that just says no, you can't build anything beyond this point. So I'm like, okay, I'll work around this. I'll build from the other direction. I'll build off of this mountain over here and then just connect to this structure. So I start building off of this mountain and running over towards my original walkway, and as soon as I place the piece that causes them to connect together, everything that I just built disappears.
And
Everything
you fell to your
from
death.
well, no, you can
Oh,
you
there's
can
parachutes or
there
something.
is fall damage. There are parachutes, but also you can Ocarina of Time it and just swing a weapon like just before you're about to hit the ground, and it cancels out your vertical momentum.
Oh, okay.
But it was just like so fucking annoying because it just eats all of those materials that you just tried to use. And more frustrating is the fact that it doesn't tell you that this exists.
Interesting.
And I have used so much fucking material doing this. I've spent seriously, it has to be close to like 8 to 10 hours, like real time hours,
So I'm gonna.
just building this.
This is just like a just build mode. There's no.
Oh,
It's not the battle
it's
royale mode.
Minecraft. No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's like Minecraft survival or like Conan Exiles, Fallout 76, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
But it's all Lego themed, and like yeah, like it's just it was so fucking annoying because like I've done this in Minecraft, I've done this in Terraria, like I don't know, I why can't I?
Did you
And
look it up and see if other people are complaining
I
about this?
I looked up Lego Fortnite build limit,
Mm-hmm.
and found an article from IGN where people were bitching that they don't even try to build anything particularly complex because they don't want to go through all the trouble and then reach a certain point where the game just won't let them add anything else.
Yeah, it's got to
And
be a
yeah,
limitation of the engine, I would imagine.
I would think that it's because it's online and you can potentially have the server running almost all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't have it. They don't have the server designed in such a way where like it can not be taking into consideration that certain things exist and certain things don't. So like it's probably just a lot for them to keep track of with the presumably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of server instances that they have to keep in storage all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my assumption, because with it being so incredibly popular, and obviously like everyone that plays it's a free to play game. So like yeah, I imagine that's why, but it's still, that doesn't change the fact that it's really fucking frustrating.
Well, I'm
So
sorry.
I'm hoping that they will, I'm hoping that they will fix it. They've been very responsive so far with people complaining about stuff, surprisingly so. So I'm hoping that there will be an update in a few weeks where it's like, we raised the build limit. Now you can build structures that are 10 times as complex.
We lowered the build
Uh,
limit. We made it
Otherwise,
run worse.
I'm probably going to have to like find some really janky way of getting around this, and I
Yeah.
don't want to have to, but I will if I have to.
Yeah, it sounds like you could just make them not connect, apparently, and that would probably do it,
Yeah,
but
it's just like the annoying thing about all of this is that my original plan was I'm going to build this roadway, and I'm going to have vehicles that will bring me from one end of it to another, and then it turns out that there's no way to actually steer the vehicles that you build. They
oh,
added
I
this
see.
whole fucking vehicle thing, and all you can do is just make the wheels turn or not turn. And
Mm,
there's no actual steering method.
I'm sorry.
So well, it's going to be, I'm going to work around it again,
Just
but it's
play
like all of
j- just play Gary's mod.
no,
Just play Gary's mod.
that's not even close to the same thing. What are you talking about?
I don't
Just
know.
play with Legos.
Did
And then when your
I
builds get too complex, Mr. Jan Lego, CEO of Lego, will burst into your house and smash it into smithereens, just like in real life.
that's they're just replicating what my brother would do to me whenever I would build a fort when I was a kid. Just come in and destroy it after it was built. Oh, my brother was a dick. Anyway, did you play any other games?
uh, I don't think so.
Okay. And we're gonna move on to Cyberpunk Monk.
Did I really play any game? Like, I'm trying to think of anything really. I played On Call this week, and I played On Call during a big winter storm. So
Yeah.
that was fun. I haven't gotten to play too many video games. I have
Oh
been.
yeah,
I
are you
have
dead? Are you dead up there?
pretty damn close to it. On Friday, I ended up having to get my car towed out of the snow. That sucked. Anyways, games. That's what we're talking about here. Played a little bit of Space Station 13 just because I'm trying to like tiptoe back into that being fun for me. It's not really working yet, but you know, I'm trying.
Yeah, because you had
Uh,
that thing about a month ago where somebody, like one of the mods, was rude to you. Something.
One of the mods was like, "Hey, I know you guys are doing a project, but I want to do something right now, so fuck your guys's," and like just deleted that part of the map we were working on. And when I said something about it, they banned me.
Yeah. Did you get unbanned from that server, or are you
Yeah,
finding a
I
different one?
appealed it and they unbanned me, and it's just not the same feeling. Like the fact that that could just happen. Like, hey, I know you're working on something, but the mods want to have fun now. It left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, like there, it's kind of related, but like there are people who get fired from a job. Like recently, like Starbucks, a bunch of people are like, "We want to unionize," and Starbucks is like, "Oh, look at this minor transgression, you're fired," and then they'll appeal and they'll get their job back. And part of me is like, but like I don't know if I would want to go to that job after that.
Oh,
Like
I'd go back to
knowing.
that job and record. I would wait for them to just slight me again because
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that's what a lot of these people are doing when they go back to jobs like that.
Probably.
Not what we were actually talking about here, though.
Right.
Space
But
Station 13, fun game. It's just not really doing it for me lately. I've
uh,
been playing a little bit of World of Warcraft.
mm-hmm.
It's, it's not good. So here's the deal. Originally, when I started playing this, I was like, I've been nostalgic. I'm gonna go back to classic. And have you all ever seen that meme where it's like, hey, you can go back in time whenever you want, but no one else is there? That's what it feels like. Anytime you do play WoW Classic and you do see someone there, all they're talking about is, man, this game used to be so much fun, haha. When were you playing? I was playing back in Burning Crusade. I played back in Rich King, haha. Boring. It's not fun. It's been boring for like a decade. So I switched over to the regular like modern release of WoW, and I'm really glad Ro is here because I kind of wanted to talk to someone and like have them relate to this. Made a new character, started doing that, and I was like, huh, I can't help but notice. I feel like they fixed leveling. Like every time I go to a new zone, everything's my level. That feels really good. And that happened like 5 or more times before I realized, oh wait, the world is leveling with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that anyway. So, long story short,
there
go
are
on.
zones.
Yeah.
There are zones. I have been exploring with that. While you're in that zone, everything comes to your level, or at least I think. And it doesn't feel like I liked WoW because sometimes you could just go and like turn your brain off, auto run, click on things, and then like, oh, there's a big boss. Let's focus. Let's actually like coordinate. Oh, rare spawn. Hey, you want to party up? Let's get a chance at rare loot or whatever. That doesn't really happen anymore. I was doing raids with people. So you hit level 15, you get the first the horde raid, the one that's inside of Orgrimmar, RFC or whatever it's called. Queued up expecting that, and at level 15, it put me in a raid where like there's dragons flying around, they're summoning like big elementals. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Clicked on stuff and they're all my level. The people in my raid are all like level 70, 80 and stuff like that, and I'm like 15 partying with them. Everything is scaled dynamically, so I assume I'm doing roughly the same damage I'd be doing if I was their level. But
Yeah.
at that point, I have to ask, what's the point?
To get to end game.
To get to endgame, I could see that definitely.
That's the
That's
entire
it.
reason. Like I remember even way back when like Lich King was out, I played Final Fantasy and other people played World of Warcraft that were my friends, and Final Fantasy was a lot different where there were things that you had to do. Like at level 30, they had dungeons and stuff that you would do that were level 30, and you were kind of screwed if you didn't have the right party comp. And I was talking to my friend who was playing Lich King, and they're like, yeah, it's just none of those matter. It's just endgame that matters in World of Warcraft. It's just you're just leveling your character to get to endgame, and that's it.
I don't think that's the best idea. One
I
thing I am
agree.
forcing myself to do, like the thing I was hoping would be the saving grace, is like, oh, look at all this old content that I haven't been able to do before. I tried going to Northrend, and that's way too strong for me. So now I'm doing all like the panda stuff, and everybody in the panda lands is like level 70, level 80, running around on flying rounds, and I'm like, okay, let me bring up another thing that I thought was weird. Original WoW, when I was playing this, you hit level 40, you get your first mount. You hit level 60, you get your big mount. Burning Crusade comes out. You hit level 70, you could fly. Now, when I was playing Classic, I hit level 20, and it's like, okay, you could buy your mount. You'll need 3 gold for the training. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck am I going to afford that? 3 whole gold?
Yeah.
Playing WoW Classic, I hit level 10, and they're like, okay, you can now get your mount. And I was like, huh? Oh, okay. All right. I had like 60 gold. Affording a mount, it just gave me the training. I didn't even need to buy it, but affording the mount. Also, it just gave me all the old mounts I had on my old account. The most fun I've had playing the most recent edition of WoW was going back and looking at all the old stuff I did with my old character. And I think that in itself is a very bad sign of the state of the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep on playing it because I already paid for that month. And honestly, at this point, I'm not even sure if that's going to be enough for me.
I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Final Fantasy 11, but do you guys know how to get how you would get a mount in Final Fantasy 11? Like when they first introduced, like you can get your own mount with a necklace that you can summon it with.
I'm guessing you'd have to do like a raid or something. You know, it'd make it worth it. It'd make it something you'd want to show off. Like old WoW.
No, you get an egg. I don't remember how you got the egg. And then you gave it to a person in one of the major cities, Bastoke, Windurst, or Sandoria. And then you raised it for a month. like literally every day you had to go to it and like complete mini games and like feed it before you could get it, and then based on how well you raised it would show you how well the mount worked. And the best you could get for that mount was 70% of the speed of a normal chocobo that you could rent. That was
Man, that's
that.
still cool.
I love that Nathan is always the one that's like, oh, you think that's bad? Back in my day, we used to have to raise our mounts from an egg for a month before we could even run.
And if you didn't do it right, it wasn't even that good.
Yep, it was. But that the thing is, I like, same with like old WoW when you were trying to get that 3 gold or whatnot for the training, it felt like you were accomplishing something, not just here's all the shit, have fun. And
I'm glad you said that, because that's fundamentally my issue with that I'm having with WoW right now. Is I'm no longer seeing the point. Back, a decade ago when I played this, like, you would go with your guild, you'd find something to specialize in, you'd have a role to fill in this role-playing game. Now it's like, it doesn't even matter what alliance, like, I was in raids with allies and hordes because I joined in on people, and I was like, what? Okay. There's so many, like, subclasses. You could be, like, mecha gnomes, void elves. It's like, what the they lost the plot, man. They lost me.
Yeah, so they got rid of, or I guess they added the cross faction stuff a few months ago, maybe sometime last year. So yeah, you can even do like cross faction raiding, like you said. There was a couple expansions ago where they added like 4 or 6 new races that you could be that are basically just like copies of the races of a lot of the races that were already there, except they start at like level 20.
They feel like the epic classes, but race variants. Like, you could be a troll or you could be a super big troll.
Kind of. It's I think it's partially supposed to be for like whenever you've already got a character that's max level and you want to go back, but you don't want to start from the bare bottom level.
That's exactly what I was thinking it was. It's hey, only endgame content matters. Why would you? What kind of loser spends their first 2 weeks of their subscription building up their character? And the answer is me, because I thought that's what the game was.
You think it takes 2 weeks to level up a character nowadays?
No, it definitely does not. It's pretty fast.
Yeah, because it used to be that you had to wear heritage armor, and like that would boost your XP. But now the base XP gain is so quick that like they got rid of heritage armor buffing your XP, and now it just gives you other benefits. I'm
not gonna rant on this very long, but I do think heritage armor is one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever seen in this game. When I was level 1, people were walking around in full gear, and I asked him, I was like, "Hey, how'd you get that?" And he's like, "Oh, I bought it."
Oh,
why are you playing the game?
Well, no, you buy it with
in-game currency. I know,
yeah,
but this gear scales with you as you level, right?
Up to a particular point, yeah. Like it's meant to get you through the early grind, basically.
It's like buying a fast pass for a ride, but the ride is the game. It's like buying a fast pass to not need to play their game.
Well, if you want a fast pass to not play the game, you just get a boost.
You can actually buy that, yeah.
Yeah, you just pay $60 and you immediately get to max level and you get a full set of equipment.
I think the most correct answer is I'm taking this hook out of my mouth. I've tasted the bait and I've said that is fine. I've had enough. I will let someone else take this one.
We'll play some City of Heroes Homecoming. It'll be great.
You could. It's got hosted servers. I got one more game, and I promise it's going to be really quick.
Okay.
Because I have been on call, I've been at work a lot, and because I've been at work a lot, I've been on the Steam Deck. My first game of 2024 that wasn't WoW was Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
Good game.
Boy, it's a good game, but it's not a done game.
No.
I started playing through it, and while I was playing, I'm on New Game Plus, so it's like I'm basically just having fun being God. But every mission in this game just reminds me that you hit a point where it's like, oh, what are you doing next? I don't know, just fucking roll the credits. But the story's not done. I don't care, roll the credits.
Yep.
I'm not gonna finish this game because it's gonna make me sad if I get to that point.
I beat that game when it came out, and yeah, it felt a little unfinished.
I remember people like who worked at the game would talk about working for Eidos Montreal and being like, these French motherfuckers, they don't care. They are not interested in making a good game. This is a cash grab.
I had a coworker that worked up at it. I think was it Eidos or it was Ubisoft, and I don't know if it's the same with Eidos Montreal, but he said that like they would go into meetings, and a lot of them their first language was French, and their second language was English, and they're like, we're gonna have all the meetings in English because it'll make it easier for the foreigners that come and work up here, and then 15 minutes into the meeting, they'd all just switch to French, and he would just be sitting there like, good, this is awesome. This is great. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't know. I wonder if that is also part of it, where a lot of people, they're not getting the information because the management is speaking a language they literally don't understand.
I could just tell you,
Mankind Divided was bad because of the Avengers game.
Oh, okay. What?
That's like 90% of what they took. They took over half of the staff working on Mankind Divided and put them on the Avengers game.
Oh,
seems like it was a mistake.
Yeah, that seems like
it was
a terrible mistake because the Avenger games was bad. The Avenger game was bad too.
Yes, it was.
They were.
So
why not
to wrap up?
I was gonna say, why not release one good game instead of two mediocre games?
Because they were getting a lot of they were planning on getting a lot of money from the Avengers game. This is going to be a big live service thing that was going to make so much cash from microtransactions.
I see. Yeah, that went well. What were you going to say, Cyberpunk Connor?
Just that it was surprising that when you see companies with as big of backers as like Square Enix in the case of Deus Ex Mankind Divided, that they'd still just be like, fucking whatever. People will buy it anyways.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, and I did. And we're gonna move on to me. One game that they released and said, people will buy it. I played some Starfield. It was all right. It's fine for me to jump in and play for a couple hours and explore some planets. It was an okay time. I then started up because I'm planning on playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth here soon. But that releases on the 25th of January. And I was like, what's a game I can play and potentially beat before that game comes out? Aha, I know. I will finish up the Shadowrun series and started up Shadowrun Hong Kong, which has been pretty fun. I like that they add in new things for each game. Like the first in Shadowrun Returns, you can see that they kind of didn't have the budget for some stuff, and so even the cyberware was really limited. You could only get certain, bits of cyberware, and then in Dragonfall and Hong Kong, they have added in like biotech along with the cyberware, so that takes up less essence, which is really fun. I've been enjoying the story. The combat's fun. I did run into a glitch. I broke a mission. I don't know if you've ran into this when you played any of these games, but what happened is there's an item you have to grab. There's two items you have to grab, and I grabbed the item that was closest to me, and that broke the game because I grabbed that item, then I grabbed the second item, and it didn't trigger that I grabbed the first item, so it broke the quest, and I couldn't exit the level. So I had to.
Were you able to load a save or something?
Yeah, I loaded a save and tried it again, and was like, it happened again. And so I reloaded and I grabbed the other item first, which was like far off to the north, and then I grabbed the item on the south, and that fixed it.
You should have done that in the first time.
Yeah, apparently I should have just known, right? I should have just known. But it's a fun game. Wish there were more voice acting because I'm terrible at voice acting, and I can't hire a Roa to come do voice acting for me for 3 hours.
That's weird. A Roa's done voice acting for my Shadowrun project.
That's true, but I can't be like, hey, so I'm playing games for 3 days straight. You need to come and do voices for the game. Be like, hey, okay, Ro, this is a troll. Give him a really high-pitched voice.
Trolls have high-pitched voices?
This one does. This one troll
Oh,
does. Yeah.
okay.
You have to give all of the people a different voice. They can't have the same voice.
I love the idea of Aroa actually doing this, but then every voice is just the movie theater guy from Simpsons. The
The
nasally voice, like every single voice.
comic book guy?
No, the guy who talks like this.
That's
I can't do it.
that would be fun. I know Aroa has a few different voices. I would personally ask for the southern girl voice that he does. I think I've seen him do that in Danganronpa.
Southern girl or the like Wisconsinite girl?
Wisconsinite girl. That's it.
Yeah,
It's going through the archives now.
Because I think you said you only have like 3 girl voices.
Yeah, my wife makes fun of the fact that every time I play a game where there are female characters, that voice has to show up like every fucking time.
Because it's all. I mean, I get it. You only have 3 voices that you can do for females, and you've got to dip into that well every time. At least you have voices. At least you have 3, because I think Connor and I aren't great at voice acting. So
Nope.
so we don't really have voices. And then the last game I played was some, instead of Starfield, I found out that our good pal Airfox, who's in the server, he has Star Citizen. He backed it on Kickstarter. He backed it for $600.
Whew.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So he had some decent ships. And I was like, "Oh, we can play some Star Citizen." He's like, "I haven't played it at all." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So before the stream, I was like,
fuck?
I know. We'll back up.
$600 and you don't install the game?
He played it once and then was like, and then hasn't played it since. So I was like, "Okay, we can play it."
Why
That'll be
did
cool.
you back it for $600 if your response was going to be,
Yeah. So I agree, but let's move on beyond his stupid. Well, let's move on beyond this part of his stupidity. So I did the tutorial because I was like, I haven't played this in over a year. And the controls are a bit fucky. So I did the tutorial, got off the planet, and Airfox. And then by that time it was like 6, right? I was starting my stream. Airfox had something he was doing beforehand, and he ended up showing up a little bit later. And I was like, okay, run through the tutorial. I'm going to go and, like, dink around and fly to a planet or something. And so I went and I flew to a planet, and he decided not to do the tutorial. And so it took him like 45 minutes to figure out how to get to his ship, because he didn't do the tutorial, which takes you to your ship. And then I tried to get him to meet up with me. Long story short, I flew around. He wasn't able to figure out how to get to me. The first ship he had, he said he didn't have a quantum drive, so he had to go grab a different ship. And I was like, okay, I went to this place and I need to refuel, but I don't know where to refuel, so I'm just going to go land here, and then we can meet up and I'll hop on your ship. And so by land, it was really dark and I went in too hot and I crashed my ship. And so I was alive, but
Did you have
uninjured.
insurance?
Well, no. So here's the deal. Yes. All the ships in Alpha have insurance. You're fine. I also have 200. For some reason, I have over 200,000 credits. I'm able to pay for my ship to be repositioned. But I think they all come with insurance when you get them. So I crashed the ship. It was broken. Like the ship was destroyed, but I was able to get out of the ship, and I was like, okay, then I'll just wait for Airfox for him to arrive. And he couldn't figure out how to get to me. And so I was like, screw it. I'm just going to start running somewhere, just run in a certain direction. And since we're in a party, he could see where I was on the map. And I was like, okay, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I heard a ship. I was like, oh, I hear your ship. And I stopped moving so that he could come pick my ass up. And he shot me. So I sit there.
Was this an accident or
No, well, he meant to shoot next to me to see if I could see the bullet.
Like
But
a
he-
warning
fuck's
shot.
sake.
So he ended up shooting me. I ended up bleeding out because I survived the shot, but I didn't grab an EpiPen or whatever it's called, the MediPen, to inject myself.
Yeah, okay.
When
You're allergic to lead.
Yeah. Well, no, so I didn't grab the pen so that I could like heal myself because I didn't think we were gonna be, because my plan was like, oh, we'll do some delivery missions or whatnot. Like I'm not gonna actually get shot at. No, apparently I got shot at by my teammate. I had like 15% health, but I didn't have a pen to heal myself or any bandages, so I ended up bleeding out and passing out. And he decided to land like 3 miles away from me and ran back and grabbed my body. But before that, he grabbed he was like, oh, I have a MediPen, and he used it on himself. So I ended up dying, and that was 3 hours of gameplay. And
Fucking riveting stuff, man.
Yeah.
Did you streamed all this?
It's all streamed. All of it's there.
You gotta get that VOD. You gotta get that. You gotta cut that up and like.
There was nothing.
Do like Star Citizen like epic montage whatever. Make that the title and then it's just that.
Okay,
it's just you crashing and then it cuts to him landing and then shooting you and then you bleed to death.
He didn't land. He shot me with his ship.
Hey, can you see this bullet?
I didn't even see his ship. I just got shot. And before that, so this planet was like a really cold planet. Okay?
Not for long it wasn't.
Well, and so I'm running, and there's snow and there's kind of a hill that I'm running down, and apparently you can slip. So my character I'm like, what just happened? My character just slipped and fell and rolled down the hill.
Brawl?
Voices of the Void ass motherfucker.
So I think I might play some more Starfield, or I'm sorry, Star Citizen, without AirFox and see if I can like do stuff, because I remember playing it over a year ago and having fun with it, and doing stuff. But yeah, it was realistically, I think the main problem is we should have met up on Stanton where we spawned, but he had come in 45 minutes after I had started streaming, so I wanted to do something before he showed up. So I did the tutorial and got off the planet and stuff. Anyway, and I had ran out of fuel by the time he had come in, so that I wasn't able to quantum drive back to the starting planet. I had to find a place to refuel, and that's what I was trying to do. But yeah, so Star Citizen, my friend shot me because he's an idiot. This next week, though, on Friday, we're going to be playing Pokemon that you can turn into slaves, Pal World.
Oh yeah, I'm hyped for that shit.
And it's on Game Pass. So
yeah, I've been hyped for that for like I want to say a couple years now.
Yeah,
at least a year.
So AirFox and I are going to be playing that on Friday, and that should be much, much better. We're going to move on, and we're going to talk about some news stories. We have a lot of them. Let's start talking about the first two. Layoffs, more layoffs.
In January? In the tech field?
Never.
Say it ain't so.
So, sorry, not Ubisoft, Unity, which we've spoken about last year when they tried to, like, gouge their developers of money. Unity has laid off 1,800, so roughly 25% of its staff has been laid off. And then Twitch also laid off another 35% of their staff, which is around 500 people. So altogether in the last year, Twitch has laid off about 50% of their staff. Oof.
Not good.
I think there was more. There was some more layoffs that was. I think Google was laying off some people as well, but I couldn't. I couldn't feel the urge to actually look up the stories. But with Unity, they're saying that they're reducing the number of things they are doing in order to focus on core process or business and drive our long-term success and profitability. We want more money, and so we're laying off people.
Yeah.
And that was basically the same
that's
thing.
Always the answer.
Yeah, that was basically the same thing that happened with Twitch as well. It's so funny, well, and sad to me that like companies will often do this. You know, they'll do big layoffs for profitability's sake. Like, we're not making enough money. We're going to lay off, 25% of our staff. And then, at least where I've worked, there have been a couple times where like I've put in my notice and they're like, "Oh, we can't lose. We need you to stay here for an entire month. You can't quit in 2 weeks." And it's just like,
Yeah, I
"Oh,
can.
well, yeah, actually I can't. Actually, I could quit right now. I'm in a quote right to work state, so I could leave whenever I want." The fact that I'm putting in a 2-week notice is actually me being nice to you. And also, like, if you don't put in a 2-week notice in a lot of places, they look down upon that. But then when they fire you or lay you off, they don't give you a 2-week notice.
Yeah, I remember the last job I walked away from. I had commented because he was like, "Oh, well, maybe when you're older, you'll be more mature and not do this." And I'd be like, "Hey, how many days did you give my boss before you laid her off?" And he turned as red as a tomato.
Yeah, I think that that's a big reason why we should have more unions. Is that if they expect a 2-week notice, they should give you a 2-week notice if they're going to lay you off or something. I understand if you get fired for insubordination or something and firing you right then and there, but you have to give them a chance. And I don't know. So both of these are lowering the workforce to try to do profitability. Nick Lotus actually said, she posted something here that was from who? Somebody. Clancy.
The CEO.
Clancy. Oh, the CEO of Twitch. Said, "I'll be blunt, we aren't profitable." Well, we all know that Twitch isn't profitable. Twitch has never been profitable. It says, "Amazon has been extremely supportive of Twitch. Big thing for being sustainable over time is ensuring that we don't lose money. That's a big part of my job because that's going to be what makes sure we can be here for the long term." And I understand, like, they probably did, and I think Unity did, and a couple other companies that laid off recently have said, like, they grew too much during the pandemic because they thought, hey, the good times are never going to end. And then I know Facebook did that, right? They hired a bunch of people during the pandemic, and then people started going back to the office and not using Facebook as much and not working from home as much as they were. And they're like, "Oh no, who could have seen this coming?" Except for everybody. And then they laid off a bunch of people. It's really bothersome, and I wish there was better recourse and better incentives for companies to keep their employees. But when you're in a society that the only thing that matters is money, I guess laying off 1,800 people or 500 people here and there doesn't really matter to you. Because while that statement he made was true, like, it sounded like he was just like, "Yeah, we just laid people off. We need more money." And
I mean, it is that is true.
Yeah, but it's like it doesn't. The people who he laid off, that they could potentially lose their houses because they don't have an income anymore. And maybe you should have.
But Nathan, have you considered fuck him?
Clancy or the employees?
I'm saying that is Clancy's opinion of the employees is
fuck him. Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
I want money.
Yeah, that's about right. We're gonna move on and we're gonna talk about Twitch again. We have Twitch Enhanced Broadcasting, which is in beta, and they said they're gonna start rolling this out to people this month. I have not got my I put in the request to be in this beta, but I did not I've not been accepted yet. Have either of you put in for the? Oh, I don't think Cyberpunk Monk streams very much, but did either of you go and try to get the enhanced broadcasting beta?
I don't have
No.
anything that can do AV1, and I don't really care about it.
Well,
Yeah.
so the enhanced broadcasting is not AV1. It is and
Isn't
isn't. It is and isn't AV1.
Yeah, it's just so that you can do like multiple stream encodes at once, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. But also AV1 is part of that. So
Yeah,
what you're saying
so I don't
is
care.
they're allowing you to transcode. There's a few things with it. So they're allowing you to transcode multiple resolutions at the same time. So you can do 1080p, 900p, and 720p at the same time. They're also allowing you to have a higher bitrate cap. So from what I've read, they're allowing you to up it to 8,000 kilobits per second instead of the 6,000 kilobits per second that they're currently allowing you to do.
Yeah, they're experimenting with doing 1440p 60 and 4K 60p streaming. Which again, I don't care because I can't even. I don't even have a 1440p monitor.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could stream at 1080p, but why?
Yeah, and they're experimenting with AV1 and HEVC, which you could probably actually encode in. Which is
but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I probably would.
There are too many situations where I could see somebody having a device that doesn't have native HEVC, and so it's gonna have to use software to decode that, and it's gonna cause problems.
Yeah,
and also like the savings as far as bitrate is so marginal that again, I don't care.
I think it would. Well, the savings for bitrate for HEVC and AV1 I think are pretty good in my opinion, but
HEVC is so fucking little whenever you're talking about such low bit rates that it does not fucking matter.
Oh, okay. I know AV1 is definitely a lot better with higher quality.
AV1's like 20%, but again, it doesn't really matter because you're talking about like 5,000 kilobit per second. If you don't have a connection that's good enough to stream 5,000 kilobit per second, you probably aren't watching Twitch. And if you are, you're having a bad time no matter what. And I'm not going to cater to you.
Well, and
that's not feasible.
Well, that is basically my opinion on it. However, I do think this is going to be a blessing for either people who are watching Twitch on mobile for some reason I don't understand, or if they're streaming or something like that, if they're on their mobile data, like hotspot tethering, I guess. Again, these are very specific use cases. I like that they're doing this. I just don't know why they're doing this.
It's because the reason why they're doing the multiple transcodes is because it will take the hit of actually doing the transcodes and move it to the user rather than moving it to Twitch.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's why they're doing that. I think AV1 and HEVC is great. I wanted AV1 encoding since I've heard of it. And they released AV1 with the Intel graphics cards first, and then AMD and Nvidia have said, "Hey, we're gonna be putting those in our next generation cards." So they're in the 4000 series cards, and whatever card they have for, is it 8000? I have no idea what cards they use for AMD. 7000? I think the 7000, whatever. Anyway,
also. No iPhones prior to the iPhone 15 support AV1.
Awesome.
So supporting it right now, in my opinion, makes absolutely no sense for making that a priority for you as a streamer makes no sense because most of your viewers are probably going to be using an iPhone, and
Most of my I think most of my viewers
I mean, for a streamer that, you know, like matters.
Well, yeah, but most of my viewers do it on computer, like they watch on computer, or, you know, I have one or two that watch on Android.
Where they're also not going to have AV1 hardware decoding.
Yeah.
Because they're using a computer that was made more than like 5 years ago, more than likely.
Yeah. I wonder how Twitch is going to handle AV1, because I know with YouTube, what they do is you stream in AV1 and then YouTube converts it to VP9.
Well, they do that because Google owns the VP9 codec.
Right. So I wonder what Twitch is going to do if you stream an AV1 and somebody doesn't have the hardware to support it. It's probably just going to be software, as you said. But they could also. I wonder if there's a transcode option to.
I'm sure for partners.
Yeah,
I'm sure for partners they can just transcode it to H.264 and be done with it.
So, they also this will only work. The enhanced broadcasting will only work for AV1 and HEVC with the 4000 series NVIDIA GPUs. You can still get the transcoding and everything from other NVIDIA GPUs down all the way to the 900 series. So the 960, 970, 980. But for the AV1 and all that, it has to be the 4000 series GPUs, which are out of the realm of possibility for a lot of people to purchase because they start at like what, $700, $600.
Yeah, they have a tendency to like catch on fire. So
yeah, there's that. That's a big problem. I've been waiting for them to release a 4050 or something along those lines, but they haven't released them yet.
Aren't they like they're putting out like a super or something, aren't they?
They have a 40. Yeah, we haven't really spoken about it, but they have a 4070. 4080 and a 4090 super that are coming out, but they have not released a 4060 or 4050 yet. So they're already releasing the super cards, but none of the lower end cards.
Yeah, they'll probably like do, you know, they'll come up with some stupid naming convention or whatever. Yeah. I still think that the 40 or the whatever, the 4000 series or whatever is
it's stupid. I don't like it.
Don't go for that. Wait for them to fix the fucking hardware.
Yeah. The power connector has a tendency to blow up. And then also, the last thing about this is, in order to use the enhanced broadcasting, at least right now, you have to use a beta version of OBS. It will be an alternate install from the normal version of OBS that you have. Because
I do think it's cool that they're working with the OBS people.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you know, everybody here knows that I use XSplit. I don't use OBS. And it's not that I can't use OBS. I could just download it and, you know, create the scenes and stuff. But it would take like 45 minutes to set everything up, and that's just, I don't care that much.
Well, then I like, if there's one thing that I will grant to XSplit, it is that their UI has always generally been a little more friendly and definitely more responsive.
Yeah.
And at least when I used it, I haven't touched XSplit in years, but being able to do stuff, being able to like move sources around and do really basic like effects and filters on shit, it's a lot quicker and simpler in XSplit. It's all stuff that you can do in OBS, but everything is hidden behind like 3 more layers of menus than they are in XSplit. The trade-off though is that OBS is, I would say, much more capable. Like, you can do everything you can do in XSplit in OBS and more.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you just have a greater degree of complexity and worse overall UX. I actually, while we're talking about this, I know of at least one streamer who who does all of their like scene manipulation stuff in XSplit and then does the virtual camera output from that into OBS, because OBS is better at the actual streaming part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I've thought about doing that, or something like that, because one problem I have, if there was an easy way to like have my presentation in XSplit and move it over to OBS, I would be super happy. I would just do that, and I would test out this enhanced broadcasting when it releases. There is a way to export your scenes from OBS and bring them on XSplit, but there's no way to do it the reverse way. So I would have to recreate every scene by myself. But maybe that's what I could do, is I could just have like the virtual camera set up and just have OBS Studio grab that and do the enhanced broadcasting without actually having to set up any scenes. That might also work.
Yeah.
If
you really want to try it out, yeah.
Yeah, I'll test it out. I'm not gonna buy a 4,000 series card to do it, so hopefully they work with, because I have an Intel Arc, right? Because I have a friend.
You're one of the 5 people that bought an Intel GPU.
Yeah, well, I also have a friend who works at Intel, so I got it for cheaper. Yeah,
my cousin works at Nintendo, so
yeah. No, my cousin is stupid. So, yeah, I have an Intel Arc, and I have some problems with it. It, like, the driver would die after like 4 days, and I'd have to reboot my computer. So hopefully that's fixed. But yeah, I put in my NVIDIA card because I was like, it just runs way better. And yeah, so hopefully they bring it to AMD. Hopefully they bring it to Intel cards, and also hopefully they expand this functionality to work in XSplit, which I imagine they will bring this functionality to XSplit. It'll probably just be after it's out of beta, I would imagine. But anyway, we're going to move on to our next story, which is something somebody else brought up, which is Apex Legends Final Fantasy VII crossover has prompted fan outcry, according to Kotaku. Is it just the pricing? Is that what I'm reading?
I mean, it is the pricing, but it's not an insignificant price. Like, yes, at a certain point you are responsible for the cosmetics that you purchase, but like, goddamn, this shit's expensive.
Yeah, and also it's all the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff, right? Like, give me
they're preying on your FOMO.
Yeah. Give me Final Fantasy VII Cloud skin from the original PlayStation. I want that in my Fortnite or Apex Legends.
I feel like that would put you at an extreme disadvantage, because all your limbs would be big balloons.
That'd be fine. It'd be fine. It'd be all right. I'd be okay with that. So it's just really expensive. How expensive is it, everyone?
I would need to open up the article again. So they did post an update, which is like, oh, it's not as bad as it's going to be.
Okay.
Where each of I think it's like 35 items or something like that. Or I think 35 is just when it starts cutting down. But each item would cost approximately 1,000 coins, which comes out to be like $10. However, the first pack is only about 100 coins, which is, about $1 redo. And then each subsequent pack will increase in price depending on how many that you already own, which is better. I think this is still a big problem at the end game of it all, especially when you're not guaranteed to get these drops that you want. So if you really, really, really want that Buster Sword drop or whatever the fuck, and you're not getting it, that sucks. Gotta gamble some more, son.
Oh, I see.
The big thing was that there is a particular cosmetic which you have a chance of getting in any given loot box, but it's an extremely, extremely small chance. However, like with most gacha games, there is a guarantee that you will get it as long as you pay for so many boxes. And in this case, it was 36. So as long as you buy 36 boxes, you're guaranteed to get this cool cosmetic thing. But of course, the original thing showed that that was going to cost about $360 if you wanted that guaranteed box. It turned out that the prices that everyone was shown were the so-called real prices. But then whenever they actually launched it, the whole thing, they're doing the classic free-to-play game thing of, well, yeah, it's 10,000 or it's 1,000 coins, but we're discounting it to just 100 coins, like Connor said. And yeah, the discount decreases the more that you buy, and eventually it's probably, like, I'd have to do the math, and I just don't feel like it. It's probably closer to like $100, I would assume, to guarantee that you get that drop.
Yeah, the original article said it could be up to $360, but you're right, it's probably about $100.
That's still a lot of fucking money.
I mean,
It's still pretty stupid.
Like,
and
just let people buy the thing that they obviously want. God damn.
Yeah, I don't like loot boxes that much. But I also don't like battle passes, so I just hate gaming. I just hate gaming today. That's what I hate. I hate battle passes. I hate loot boxes.
You imagine being some kind of fucking loser that got the Fortnite battle pass?
Yeah, what kind of loser would do that?
I don't know, man. That Fortnite battle pass has like a Solid Snake and a Peter Griffin.
What? You can.
The newest Fortnite pass has like Solid Snake and Peter Griffin in it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh.
I have Peter Griffin.
Is like.
At least you can do the voice when you're playing the game.
I'll shit on Fortnite till the end of the day, but god damn it, they have Peter Griffin and Solid Snake in it.
The crossovers are so fucking great.
They are. I don't like Fortnite, but I will admit they had the Lego crossover. That's awesome. The Dragon Ball crossover was really cool. I was actually kind of tempted to
I bought
download
Frieza
Fortnite.
and Goku Black.
Yeah.
Like
they've done some they did some WWE crossovers. There's John Cena in the game.
There's John Cena, and there were two divas that were in the shop a couple weeks ago.
They're not called divas anymore. They're women.
I don't fucking care.
They've changed
I don't watch that shit.
They've changed
Supposedly, they're all called superstars now, which I think is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
They've called them superstars for like 20 years. It is stupid. It's
the cheesiest fucking dumb shit.
They did that because you can't trademark so they called them like the guys were superstars and the women were divas because you could trademark those words. You can't trademark men and women. And so they wanted Yeah.
Wait. Why didn't they sue Five Nights at Freddy's whenever Freddy calls fucking Jimmy, whatever the hell his name is, whenever he goes, "You're my superstar." Huh?
Probably because it's not in the same realm of entertainment.
Also, why isn't Five Nights at Freddy in Fortnite?
You want to play as Freddy Fazbear?
I would 100%. I would buy additional V-Bucks if I had to play as Freddy Fazbear.
You'll contact whoever owns Five Nights at Freddy's and ask him to contact Epic. Or be like, hey, you should just tweet out that you want to be in Fortnite. I think that's how it works, right? You just tweet it out and then they'll reach out to you. That's what I did. That's why I'm in Fortnite.
Except I don't know if Scott Cawthon uses social media anymore. Ever since everyone got mad at him for being a conservative.
Yeah, he's always like. I thought everyone knew that, right? Like his first games were
because no one played the first game.
Well, that's true. Nobody played the games that he made before Five Nights at Freddy's, so they didn't realize that he was super religious.
Yeah, it's not even necessarily that he's a conservative. All anyone knows is that he's hardcore pro-life.
Yeah. We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about somebody else who's retiring. MatPat. More Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. MatPat is
I didn't even do that on purpose.
Yeah, he's retiring. Kind of. So he has said that he is stepping back from basically hosting his channels and is giving the channels to other hosts, which I don't know how well that's going to work. Sometimes people do that and those shows just immediately die. If you ever... Did you know there was a season after the final season of Mythbusters?
No.
Without Adam and Jamie?
That sounds like it wouldn't do so well.
Yeah.
Actually, I do remember that.
They did like a competition to find the next Mythbusters, and they had a season.
It was awful.
And nobody watched it.
Yeah.
And then there was also a season after Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel left The Man Show, and that tanked as well. So who knows? Those felt a little forced, though. Like, hey, we like the Discovery and Comedy Central were like, hey, this show made us money, and it's our show, so we're gonna put it out there, and it's gonna continue to make money. It feels a little different because as I watched the video Matt Pat put out, and he said, hey, we've been introducing these new hosts. Like, we've had them on our streams. We've had them hosting videos already. They're just going to be taking over full time. Not like what Discovery and Comedy Central did, which was like, we have the IP. We're just going to continue on with this show with different hosts. And that was not a good idea on their part. So Matt Pat is stepping away from hosting the shows and doing a lot of the content, but he said that he will still be on like the panel to do. He's going to be working in the background and helping come up with ideas for the episodes, but he's just not going to be the face of his channels anymore, which were, what was it, Food Theory, Game Theory, and
it's like
other
Fashion Theory or Design Theory or something, like a Film Theory.
Don't fucking ask me, man. I don't even...
Like, the Matt Pat, at least he's stepping back and it's his choice. It's not like some big scandal happened and he's like, I'm stepping back from my channels because all of the comments are bad.
All things considered, for a YouTube creator, not a bad way to walk out of it.
Yeah, like him just to be like, I'm done, I'm good.
I don't see a single extra pitchfork that wasn't already there. And those are just the cringe pitchforks. Those ones are acceptable.
Yeah, like, from everything I've heard, everybody, and it could just be like his public persona, but Matt Pat seems like he's been a pretty nice guy, and I haven't heard of any controversy from him. Like, I haven't heard of any, like, oh, he, did bad things or stole from charities or anything like that. So...
Failed to donate money, or like 9 out of 10 times was a pederast.
Yeah, like, he just seems like he's done. He's been doing this for 10 years, and he's like, I'm burnt out. Because I am, and I understand that. After you do something for a year, and then also a big thing with YouTube or any content creation thing is, you go out and you're not making a video, that means you're not making money. And if you're not making content, you're not bringing in that income. And so every time you go somewhere, you have to think, oh, I need to figure out an idea to how to turn this into content. And it kind of consumes your life. And I've heard that from a lot of creators who have stepped back or reduced their content from 2 times a week to 1 time a week, where they're just like, I just need more time to myself. I just need more time to, not think about this channel 24/7. There's a guy I watch who's a competitive eater, and he was doing videos twice a week of going to different restaurants and doing different challenges. And he was just like, I'm cutting it down to once a week because I can't do 2 food challenges a week every week for another 5 years. And
I feel like that'll kill you.
Oh yeah.
Apparently he's got it pretty well down. So like, he'll do the food challenges, and then like he works out every other day. So like every other day of the week, he only eats like 500 calories. So he
Is this Eric the Electric by chance?
No, it's a Beard Meets Food.
Eating
Oh,
500 calories every other day will also kill you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like that's not a great way of doing things. Beard Meat's
No.
food also like grosses me out. I can't stand watching him.
Oh, yeah,
Like
I
it's
understand that.
just
Like I can watch him, but but okay, so my girlfriend, um, she gets mad at me, or she got mad at me because I was like, "Oh, a pickle," and I, grabbed a pickle out of the jar, and she's like, "Why are you putting your fingers in the jar?" And I was just like, because I wanted a pickle." And so I'm watching Beard Meat's food, and he's just taking the food and like putting it into a ball and shoving it in his mouth. I'm like, oh, my girlfriend would vomit if she saw this. She just would not like it. So I understand what you're saying, Earl, because he does not eat um, properly. I would say, like, he is very messy when he eats. But
he's a gross motherfucker, is what
he
he
is,
is.
he is, he is. I agree. But going back to Matt Pat, good for him. If you like his stuff, then you should watch his stuff. But I was joking that now that he's in a movie, he's gonna be stepping back so he can become a famous movie star.
Yeah.
Because he was in Five Nights at Freddy's. Did you see that movie yet?
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw it like as soon as it came out.
Oh,
It was
okay.
good.
It was all right. Like it was what I expected. It was PG, so it's like PG
You
horror.
you also are not like I don't think you would consider yourself a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's,
No,
right?
no.
Like it is absolutely like it's probably more of a movie for fans than even like the Sonic movies are in some aspects.
Hmm.
Just because like I feel like you're not going to get anywhere near as much out of that movie as you are if you know everything about the series already.
So I do know a bit about the series. I'm not a fan of the series, but I know a bit about the series because I watched Matt Pat's videos on Five Nights at Freddy's, the game theory videos on Five Nights at Freddy's. So I know quite a bit about it. Um, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. Like it wasn't amazing, and it was PG horror, which is
Yeah.
what was it, PG-13? So PG-13 horror. So there wasn't a lot of blood or gore or anything, which
I
doesn't
mean,
necessarily
a
have to be in
cupcake does
horror.
maul a guy's face
That's
off.
true.
Like,
That's true. But there needed to be more of that. The kid survived till the
For
end.
kids, yeah.
Well, yeah, the kid survived all the way to the end. That was sad.
well, that kid did.
That's true.
There are
There-
5 dead kids throughout the rest of the movie.
There needs to be more dead children.
Like, you have 5 dead kids, and you got Shaggy fucking making fun of him right before he gets impaled because of the fucking Springtrap suit.
Yeah, yeah. Matt, I did love Matthew Lillard in the movie,
And then it shows him fucking bleeding out alone at the end.
and then I liked I did like the Matt Pat cameo in it where
Yeah.
he's just like, but that's just a theory, and it's like, shut up, Matt Pat.
The security guard at the beginning is Scott Cawthon.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be Markiplier, but he was too busy doing the Iron Lung movie.
Oh, too bad you weren't able to be in it. You could have been the security guard.
Me, the prolific Five Nights at Freddy YouTuber.
Yeah, is Markiplier a big Five Nights? I don't watch Markiplier, so.
Well, Markiplier's a big YouTuber, so of course he's a big Five Nights at Freddy YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
But in particular, Markiplier is like one of the biggest Five Nights at Freddy YouTubers, at least in terms of the like he has played all of the games and a lot of the fan games, and he makes sure to 100% all of them. And yeah, like
oh yeah,
he was the king of Five Nights at Freddy's for quite a while.
There was another person who completed a lot of the Five Nights at Freddy's games, but I don't think he's going to be making any cameos in anything for a while because of charity fraud. Alleged charity fraud. We're going to move on. And we're going to talk about Capcom. Capcom is raising the ire of some fans by putting DRM into old games. Which
I
why?
so I heard that people were doing this initially because I guess a bunch of Capcom games just stopped working on Steam Deck, and people are like, "Huh, that's weird. What happened?" Long story short, is we're about to get into the article here. Capcom was like, "Oh, it's really important that people don't. Let me check on this list and see what people have been really enjoying with our games lately. Where they mod them and like make customizations. Yeah, it's not good for our reputation. So you can't play this game on Game Boy anymore."
But it's not good for our What?
So
So
here's what I say. When I think of Resident Evil, like the most recent ones, the remakes and everything, the single funniest thing I can think of is the mods where like they turn Mr. X into Shrek or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I laugh every time, and
Or
I know
Kool-Aid Man.
it's successful. Exactly, I know it's successful because the internet had a field day with it. Like the thing that makes the most recent Soul Calibur game successful is what modders did to make Capcom games successful.
Yeah,
And
like
for some reason they don't like it. We'll get
'cause
into it.
that's a big thing
so
with a lot of PC games is like fans like it when you're able to mod the games and make them like that one doesn't hurt, like you making Mr. X into like Macho Man or something and break through the wall and then be like snap into a Slim Jim. Like that's great. That's great. You want to be able to do that. And I think it's bad. It makes the reputation of the company go down when you take that ability away.
yeah,
Especially
but
when
these
they
are
do
old
so-
Japanese men.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
that really is what it ultimately comes down to. Is somebody's like put a dollar bill on a fishing line and held it up above, like just before they could reach, and they're like,
Mhm.
"Gentlemen, this is what happens if we don't break our game."
We're ruining the vision that they had for the game, and they don't like that. And
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, that probably is more what's going on than I care to admit. I just feel like they're going about it in an ass backwards way.
yeah,
They are. It's Were you going to talk about the Street Fighter 6 thing? Because that's probably where this all started.
I have
Yeah.
no idea. So please go on and talk about Street Fighter 6.
So the big catalyst that started all of this, most people are pointing to, because Capcom themselves seem to have pointed to it in an internal presentation. A Street Fighter 6 tournament. It was unofficial, but nevertheless, a Street Fighter 6 tournament that was streamed on Twitch. And the group running the tournament made a little oopsie and forgot to remove the naked Chun-Li mod before they started the tournament off.
Nice.
So it comes up and it's like Chun-Li versus blah, 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 and Chun-Li's big old floppy titties are just hanging out.
Like unproportionately, just the bodies on Tekken 6 no longer look human. These are clay abominations. And someone said, "Let's put tits on them."
So so Capcom didn't like that very much, and they're like, we gotta cut down on this. We can't have people going around making it look like our games are full of nudity. We can't have people sexualizing our characters. What kind of nonsense would that be if somebody sexualized our 8-foot tall big titty goth mommy? That
Hold
would be
on,
fucking weird.
Sorry, so while you were talking, the camera started panning towards Morgan. Let me just put this back on center. All right, could you say that again?
We can't. This is unacceptable. We have to stop letting them objectify our women that are barely wearing one layer of cloth on top of their giant voluptuous breasts. Anyway, yeah. So Capcom is stupid. Everyone fucking knows, as Nathan was saying, that like a ton of the notoriety of Resident Evil Village came from the modding scene doing ridiculous shit, particularly with the vampire ladies.
The really tall dominatrix girl, right?
Yeah, primarily Lady Dimitrescu. Also her so-called daughters, all that. That was a pretty fucking big deal. Like the RE engine in general, because of the way that it is made, is extremely easy to mod because you can just drop assets in and it just takes it. Like it just rolls with it. It's great. And them, like Capcom putting this bullshit in is fucking, they're shooting themselves in the face, and they don't even seem to realize it or care.
I think it's
Because
shooting
they think
yourself in
that-
the foot is the
No.
term.
This is worse
No.
than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I really think that this is going to, especially with the fact that it breaks Steam Deck compatibility.
Yeah, that's the
Like,
big one.
that Steam Deck is fucking huge. Like, and yeah, I'm sure that there are like other Linux players that aren't using Steam Deck are probably like 0.01% of their market, but it doesn't change the fact that this is going to severely harm goodwill towards your entire PC player base.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong, on some level, like I get it with online games in particular, like, but there's no reason why you can't do what Microsoft, for example, has done, where you just offer a version of the executable that does not have anti-cheat. Like it's just that simple. You include two shortcuts. One runs the game with anti-cheat, one runs it without, and if you want to mod the game, go ahead, run the non-anti-cheat version. Otherwise, you run the one with anti-cheat if you want to connect to our online services.
And maybe run the anti-cheat one when you're doing a tournament that might have naked Chun-Li in it.
Yeah,
maybe.
and like it, if you're really that concerned about what unofficial tournaments are doing with your property, then do a Nintendo. Like, if you really want to be that fucking stupid about it, be Nintendo and be like, if you play Melee and stream it on Twitch, we'll fucking sue you. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. I think that's just as much of a stupid idea as putting DRM in your 12-year-old games. But hey, like, if you're willing to go that far, at least do it in a more sensible way and just target the people who are actively harming your image, in your opinion, instead of just throwing everything out all at once. Because I really think that this is going to ultimately hurt their PC sales in a meaningful way. And I believe the review bombing that's already happening on Steam as a result of this is only the first part of that. And like, I have said before, I hate Denuvo. Everyone hates Denuvo.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, this is also even worse than Denuvo because like it like straight up causes frame rate issues even on like normal PC players' machines. It has decreased frame rates by upwards of 15%. I think they said.
Oh, that's it.
I think it was something like that. Yeah, but it like. At the very least, though, with Denuvo, you can still mod games that run Denuvo. You can't even do that with whatever this shit is. I don't know if it's. I'm assuming it's something that they licensed, because there was a Capcom anti-cheat thing that Village used. Because that was the cause of major frame rate issues in certain circumstances on PC. Because it turned out that if you ran the pirated version of Village, that it actually ran much better than the Steam version.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Denuvo's anti-cheat is DRM is bad. It hurts the gaming. It hurts the gaming.
So this is Enigma Protector. This is a company that's been around since 2004, it would seem, and they have some kind of. Oh, this company looks like shit. This looks like it looks like they haven't updated the website since 2004. Like this looks like the sort of thing that like you'd get like a pop-up on your Windows XP machine that's like, buy this antivirus or your whole computer will be deleted. And you get like this fake box that looks like it should be for like Mac software, but it for some reason is marketed towards Windows users. I also think they're selling Oracle VirtualBox.
Interesting.
Boy, no wonder this fucking thing sucks so much. Yeah. So I think I've said all that I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Capcom.
Yeah. Fuck
Bet.
you.
I think we need to go get we need to go back to that one Resident Evil Village stream that Jerma did where he said fuck Capcom.
Yeah.
And we need to start spreading that clip around once again.
Not. I mean, I'm a fan of Capcom games, but at this point, I'm not a fan of but I'm not a fan of a lot of corporations,
Companies.
Yeah, the developers, the people who actually work on the games, they don't give it. Like, they also hate this. That's always the thing that gets me is like 99% of the company is not on board with like anti-cheat or DRM and all this, because 99% of them are the people who are working on the games, and those people are gamers, and they're like, man, I hate this.
Don't forget about how like the marketing team and like multiple other people within Capcom were just fully buying into the Lady Dimitrescu hot Dami mommy thing. Like they fucking put out like her full measurements and like all that shit so that people could like do fan art of her that was to scale. Like, don't forget about that. Like, they gave the size of her shoes. They did all that because like people were fucking gooning like motherfuckers to fucking Lady Dimitrescu because like hey. And also don't forget that modders were the ones who brought full fucking VR support to Resident Evil 7 on PC because Capcom just kind of forgot about all that on the PC version.
Yeah, you don't need that.
And with motion controls, by the way.
That's awesome.
Adds motion controls. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Modders are amazing.
Yeah.
They put so much effort to get basically so little out of it.
You'd have to be amazing. A real asshole to go out of your way to keep them from improving your game.
Mm-hmm. A real douchebag. But
Capcom.
I think that's our last story, so I want to say thank you for being here, Aroa.
Yeah, it took me a little while to get my brain cooking again, but I think we're online.
I don't think you're allowed to do that. I mean, I guess you are. You can do whatever you want to your brain, but whatever. And thank you for being here, Connor the Cyberpunk Monk Besh.
Quite the opposite. I turned my brain off halfway through.
Yeah. And I'm your host, Nathan Reed-Spruth. We will be back next week with some more stories, probably about more layoffs. That's probably what we're going to talk about.
Hopefully it won't take us as long to get through it all next time.
We'll see. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.